Yes, it's me, Market Vendor here again today. But listen, today I want to talk a little bit about curfew. Curfew. Or as the French used to call it, cover-foot. You know, that's the Belgian pronunciation, but it's fairly close to the French one here, we're telling you. Now, apparently the origin of this word, curfew, got to do with a French word, two French words, cover-foot. C-O-U-V-R-E-F-E-U. That's how they pronounce it. Now, you see me, Market Vendor, I went check on this thing. Now, it really means cover the fire, put out the fire. What exactly is that? What fire you putting out? Now, in the old time days, before we had gas lamps and then before we had electricity, you used to have these fires burning in the houses. And around 9 o'clock at night, you used to hear a fella going round, balang, 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 balang. Yes, balang is what I said, yes. Around 8 or 9 o'clock, reminding you to put out the fires. You understand? You know, yes, because you see a lot of the houses, the timber houses back in the day. And you never know, you might burn down your house and the people's house next door and a whole heap of houses if you left on that fire burning during the night. So you had to have the curfew. Well, you know, a curfew today be restricting your movements. But again, generally speaking, it has got to do with night time, ain't it now? Yes, night time is when you hear about curfew most of the times. But not always, you know. Yes, not my friends in Trinidad and Tobago, though. Oh, lost, I know some PNM might can cost Market Vendor now, you know. Oh, lost. But anyhow. But I found it a little bit odd that Trinidad and Tobago had a curfew that start at 10 a.m. Not 10 p.m. Yeah, boy, Trinity. You're not bad now. Well, you're different, yes? The curfew start at 10 o'clock and end at 5 o'clock the next morning. So essentially, you have 5 hours during the 2 bank holidays this week to go and conduct your business, go and do whatever it is you got to do. I would suggest don't even hold a fresh during that period. Well. That's a real unusual time there. In Barbados, normally the curfew to start, but here, around, in some cases, it started as early as 9 o'clock, and then it went up to like 10 o'clock, then 11 o'clock, and some nights it's midnight, you know, and then a few nights you ain't got the curfew at all. Hey, but not Trinidad and Tobago, boy, not my Trini friends, no. The government don't dare come up with curfew at 10 o'clock by the 2 bank holidays. Well, you had much for Indian arrival there, did you? But what you could really get done in that time, though? You could go to the supermarket, the bank, and everything. If it's 5 o'clock in the morning, bank ain't opening before about 8 o'clock, unless they got special opening hours, And they're going to get special passes to go up on the priority bus route and be on the roads and so on. And then what about the taxis that go and get you to them places? That's a real unusual curfew here with Market telling you. 5 hours, but them 2 days, well, you better stay home. Here we're telling you. Order in, hope that KFC or somebody saw this deliver. Hey, I was only a Market Vendor. I hope my Trinity friends don't take umbrage at this here, you know. I ain't jabbing you too strong. I just find that real odd hours. Them is the oddest, you know, curfew hours I ever hear about in the Caribbean. Anyhow, generally, as I say, it got to do with night time, but there ain't nothing in regulations that say it can't be at a different time. They had a fella down in Grenada when they had the uprising and what he called, you know, the revolution and thing, and when they overthrow Morris Bishop. A fella called himself General Hudson Austin. But he couldn't even call the word curfew. He used to call it curfew. I thought, what curfew? What kind of foo business this is? I was only a Market Vendor, but I'm gone for now. You have a blessed and a wonderful day. Yeah? I my curfew now.